Paul is the favorite among liberals except domestic policy, the favorite among conservatives except foreign policy, and the favorite amongst anarchists. Look at his competition. His failures are predictable, so he should not be too hard on himself. The growth of government is predictable, and Ron Paul himself gained credibility by his describing this fact. Paul has never had much faith in the establishment. That has helped make his voice heard, and at the end of the day, his voice is what will last. Paul can be credited with the origins of the Tea Party before it was quickly hijacked. Conflicts of interest assured that movement stalled, with the exception of his informal wing. His plea is for an intellectual awakening, which means, wake up. He also describes psychopathic authoritarians in his humble tone, the closest he gets to name-calling in his pleas to Americans. Why does he continue? It must be the thousands of young people he met while campaigning and promoting the empowerment of liberty. There is a moral, uncomplicated and prosperous answer to our problems. Life is not easy, but personal liberty is. If I had to disagree with Paul about one thing, it is that he failed. When you look at the number of people who don't vote and were not paid off through employment and / or bribes, there is an overwhelming amount of people who would choose freedom. When will people say enough is enough and demand for Congress to cease and desist? Good question, Dr. Paul. A culture of violence. The government rules by force with the consent of the people, who never signed up for such a thing, even if voted on by the military. He talked about killing 500,000 Iraqis in the 1990s and claiming it was worth it. If this cycle is not reversed, society will break down. Paul asks more questions than he gives answers. Like he says, the answer is simple. The questions are much harder for others to face. Change yourself and others will follow, Dr. Paul pleads. He then essentially calls politics useless. Great speech indeed.